Today's episode answers a question that I hear a lot. Do you really need to be on social media for your business? Now, as a social media marketer with a whole podcast about showing up on social media, you're probably expecting me to say, of course you do. But spoiler alert, my short answer is no, you don't need to be on social media to market your business and be successful. That said, I want to dive deeper into this because the conversations I've been hearing about it since I've been in business just don't always sit right with me. Too often, the people claiming small business owners don't need social media have been saying it like they're doing you a favour, lifting this big weight off your shoulders. But here's the thing, they're not being entirely fair. A lot of the time they're promoting something else they sell, positioning their solution as the magic answer for your business, and honestly, it often reeks of BS. So let's cut through the noise. While social media isn't essential for every business, it can offer a lot of benefits. Today, I will break down the pros, the cons, and how to decide what is best for you. But before we dive in, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to Show Up and Be Heard, the podcast that exists to help women like you simplify your business and your life so that you can stop feeling so overwhelmed. I am your host, Becci McAvoy, owner and founder of Be Heard Socials, and I am an award-winning social media marketer who runs an award-winning Boss Your Socials Club membership that has recently won Female-Led Community of the Year for 2024. If you want to cut through the noise and BS and get practical, actionable advice tailored specifically to make social media marketing accessible and easy to understand, or if you want to be part of a supportive community where women entrepreneurs can feel connected and inspired to achieve their dreams, then keep listening because you are in the right place. To be the first to find out when new episodes go live and to get more tips like the one you hear in this podcast, make sure you join my email community through the link in the show notes. All right then, let's get started with this week's episode. Let's get juicy. So, do you really need to be on social media to market your business or to be successful as a small business owner? This is something a lot of small business owners wonder about, especially if you feel a little overwhelmed by all the social media options out there. And I get it. Like it is overwhelming, especially when you're not sure where to start or what to do. So if someone comes along and tells you that no, you don't want to be on it, it's like music to your ears, right? But I want to break down the answer in a little bit more detail, not as simple as a yes and not as simple as a no. Let's take the pressure off and give you some practical insights to help you decide what is right for you and what is right for your business. So, like I said, let's start with the most straightforward answer I can give you. And I want to get this out there from the start. No, you don't need to be on social media to be successful. You don't have to do anything for your business that doesn't feel right for you, especially if it's not where you are going to get the best results. And remember, best results means a lot of different things, from reaching new clients to supporting your mental health to just what you love and hate and what you enjoy and fills you with dread. There are so many ways to build a successful business outside of social media. There's email marketing, networking, SEO, word of mouth, traditional advertising, paid ads on social media, not the organic side of it, and the list goes on. And I guess really from the very start of this episode, what I want is to give you permission to focus on the things that suit you best. So if social media feels like a chore or doesn't work for you, that's okay. Don't do it if it's not right for you, but give it some thought before you just dismiss it completely. Because all that said, let's talk a bit about how you might choose what the best avenues for your business are. I think it's important to focus on a combination of what you enjoy and where you see results. For example, if you love connecting with people in person, networking events or even old-fashioned word of mouth might be the right place to focus. If you are a natural writer, maybe email marketing is your sweet spot, or blogs, and then you'd want to focus on SEO for those blogs and that kind of thing. You can build your whole business around these things. There's no single path to success here, and not every path needs social media. There are, I'm not going to pretend that I like social media marketing. I wouldn't do it as a job if I didn't. I enjoy it, so it's not a chore for me. But what really gets me, I guess, about all of this is people playing on pain points or things that you're struggling with to sell you the thing that they're trying to sell you. And actually, you don't ever have to love social media, but it can come with so many benefits. So if you can just find a way to make it work for you and maybe not make it your main focus, then that could be the solution that you're looking for. So social media can be a valuable tool. As a social media marketer, I'm not going to pretend that it isn't. It can be a valuable tool. So let's talk about the potential benefits of social media. Whilst it might not be essential, like I said, it can be really valuable, especially if you're open to exploring it in a way that feels manageable and authentic for you. So not by listening to all the noisy experts out there saying the things that you should do, because I think that's what puts a lot of people off of social media. And it does my head in, because people panic. They go out there to try and find out how to do it. They hear all this noise from different experts and different big names and all these different people saying you need to do this and you should do this. I don't like the words need and should. So what I'm going to talk to you about now is, if you are open to exploring it in a way that feels manageable and authentic to you, listen to the rest of this podcast episode. And if by the end you still decide it's not right for you, then choose one of the other avenues. But one of the biggest benefits of social media is that it can drive traffic to your other marketing efforts. Imagine you start a podcast like this one, or want to build your email list. Social media can be a perfect place to tell people about these things, share updates, and encourage people to sign up or tune in. So one of the biggest ones I hear is that email marketing is the best form of marketing for conversions, because you've got a warm audience list. It drops straight into their inbox. You've got a higher chance of people seeing it, all of that stuff. All the stuff that people say is absolutely true. But how do you get people on that email list in the first place? You don't just magically get given an email list. So social media can be a brilliant way if you don't have the money for ads, or you don't want to explore other options, or you don't like sort of in-person networking, things like that. Social media can be a fantastic way to get people on that email list. So I think what you need to remember is, no matter what anyone is selling you, it's not about there being one answer about being the best way to market yourself. It's about choosing where you put your focus and how much time and effort you put into each one. So for me, social media will be one of my biggest marketing efforts, because I love it, I enjoy it, it's what I do. But I don't like other areas of marketing, and so I might know I need to do it, but do slightly less of it. If you are doing something like email marketing, which is brilliant, and I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, don't do email marketing, do social media marketing, because that's BS. It's just BS. They complement each other. But if you do email marketing, which I absolutely recommend that you should do, social media can also be a great way to give people a taste of what they'd get if they joined your list. Because things like email marketing are more, you're asking people to do more. You're asking them to give you their email address. You know, like, all the benefits of email marketing, which are absolutely true, are brilliant. But it does drop straight into their inbox. But people are going to unsubscribe if they don't want you in there. So social media can be kind of like a good first step to give them a taste of what they'd get if they joined your list. And as they grow to know, like, and trust you and love what you offer, then they might go, oh, and if they're free social media that I can get anywhere, is this good? Then imagine what's on their email list. So you can share quick tips, little behind the scenes moments, or valuable snippets to build interest and trust. This approach really helps warm up your audience and makes it easier to convert them into email list subscribers, which is a brilliant form of marketing, or even clients down the line. So it's a really valuable tool for social media, is a really valuable tool for driving people who come across you or refer to you or find you to your other marketing efforts, whatever that may be, whether it's your website, podcast, or email list. Or other things that I'm possibly not mentioning. But, like, use this podcast as an example. Obviously, I love my podcast and it will be brilliant. Like, some people might just find it on the podcast and find it through different ways. But I talk about it a lot on my socials, and a lot of my traffic is driven from my social media. A lot of my traffic is also driven from my email list. In fact, I'd love to know at this point where you found out about this episode. Why are you listening to this episode? Come and tell me. Was it because I sent out the email? Was it my social media? And I'm not expecting or wanting people to say it's from my social media. I just really love to know. Because it's not anything in isolation. Okay, so talking about some other areas, if you're, like, when I hear people answer this question and they say, well, no, you don't need social media because you can do X, Y, Z. What I want to talk about a little bit in this is how those XYZ, I don't think any of them are wrong. I think they're absolutely right. They're brilliant ways to market your business, to sell, to do various different things, to build relationships, trust, etc. But I want to talk about how social media complements them. So let's talk about networking. And look at how social media supports networking and those all important real life relationships, which are really important. Most of the people that I convert through to customers isn't because I've put a post out on social media. It's because in some way, shape, or form, we have built a relationship and they've got to know me. I know many small business owners who love in-person networking events, and social media can really help take those connections further. And here is how. Imagine you go to that networking event and you meet someone, you have a really great chat, but then a few weeks go by before the next networking events happen. If you have social media and you use social media, you can use it to stay connected with them between events. And it almost accelerates that connection that you've made at the initial place that you've met each other by following each other's updates. And you don't even have to be constantly talking to them. You don't have to be in constant chat with them. Just by following each other's updates, you can keep that relationship warm. They will get to know more about you. You'll get to know more about them and their business, and they'll get to know more about your business and what makes you different. And like I said, you'll get to do the same with them. This sort of connection is almost like skipping a stage in building a relationship. So the next time you see each other at an in-person networking event, so you've been to one and then you go to one the following month, it's more familiar and it's more personal. You've already laid a bit of groundwork, which can make it easier to reach out. It can make it easier to say hello to them again. It can make it easier to collaborate if that's an opportunity, or refer clients to each other. Social media can be a great bridge between those in-person interactions to just deepen that relationship and help them know more about you than you can tell them in the few minutes that you get at networking events. So yeah, I love that. And I've seen real results from that. Like, I really like in-person networking or online networking. I love networking events. But the best relationships I've got out of them, or the fastest relationships I've got out of them, are the ones I've been able to build after the event, in between the next one. So it's not to say, do social media or do networking. It's thinking about, in each of these cases, how they complement each other. Another huge benefit of social media is the way that it can support referrals. So people will talk about, and actually for me, my biggest thing that converts people is word of mouth and referrals. I think we've all been in a situation where a friend or a colleague recommends a business, but what's the first thing we do? We look them up. Often on social media, it's a natural instinct to want to check things out for ourselves and get a sense of the business, and see if they feel like a good fit, see if they align with you, see if their vibe is for you, all that kind of stuff. Having a presence on social media can give people confidence in your business, even if it is just a small presence. It's not about being on there all the time, and it's not about showing up on stories and doing all the all singing, all dancing things. It just helps answer questions like, what do they offer? What's their vibe? Are they active and engaged? Do they respond to messages quickly? Is their customer service good? Social media can be a quick and easy way for potential customers to get a feel for your business after someone has referred you, and really seal the deal on that person deciding that, yeah, not only have I had this recommendation from a friend, which is worth its weight in gold, and it really is, I've gone and checked it out, and I can get loads more from it. Now, they might also go out and check out your website, which, I am not going to sit here and go, no, you don't need a website because you can have social media. I am not that person. This isn't about, here's all the reasons that you should use social media. It's here's what all of these different things do. And if somebody does go out and check your website out after they've been referred, if you've got links on your website to your social media, they can come across and see more personality. Whilst a website can offer personality, it can't offer it in the same way that social media does. So it can really, really benefit that. And it can help people do a bit more research. It's like the research angle after someone has been referred to you. Okay, so beyond these things, social media can also help you, like I said just now, showcase your personality and values. You've really got the advantage of being able to put yourself front and center, and that really helps people get to know you. And when I say put yourself front and center, it's in a way that is comfortable for you. Like I said earlier, I don't like the needs and the shoulds, and this isn't what this episode is about talking about how to show up. It's something we talk about in Bossy Socials Club a lot. And you'll know, if you ever do work with me, that we can be on one call and 3 people could ask me the same question in terms of how they should show up or what they should do. And I'd give them all different answers because I know them and what suits them and whether they love social media or are doing it reluctantly or whatever it might be. But either way, there are ways on whatever level that you can showcase your personality and values that help people get to know you. Social media can also be amazing for really quickly testing new ideas and getting instant feedback. So it can be a safe space to try out new content, ideas, products, and see how people respond in real time. I've done it with a lot of the things that I've launched and released. I've spotted gaps where I'm like, oh, actually, I could offer this. This is something that could really make a difference. Boss Your Socials Club came about because of that. So it's a really great way that you can do that quickly without necessarily an enormous amount of effort to get a feel for sort of what will work and what won't work. And like I said, I'm not saying social media is the only way to do that because it absolutely isn't. I got a bit of a feel for Boss Your Socials Club or a gap in the market for Boss Your Socials Club from social media. I then tested it out with my email list as well because I knew they were a warm audience who knew me really well and would give me good feedback on it. But social media is just a bit of a quick and easy way that you can like jump on and go, I've had this idea, what do people think? And ask questions and build relationships and all that kind of good stuff. It is also a brilliant place to stay current with trends and keep an eye on competitors. Although that said, with a caveat, to stay in your lane as well. I give many tips around not falling down rabbit holes of competitors, but it is a good way to see what people are up to. You'll see what's working for them and get inspiration for your own business as well. And inspiration, not copying, because you don't want to be doing that. Do not be that person. Okay, so there's some brilliant things that social media can do, but importantly, we need to find a balanced approach. So if these benefits that I've just been through sound useful, but social media still feels really overwhelming, then I encourage you to start small. Don't go all in on social media because you'll hate it before you even start. Maybe pick one platform that seems to fit your style and just experiment with showing up once a week maybe, or less than that if that's what works. Like I said, I can't really answer that on here without asking you lots of questions. But yeah, start small basically. It could be on Instagram, LinkedIn, or even a Facebook group that has your target audience in it, and not your own platform. There's no need to be everywhere all at once. And also remember that social media doesn't have to mean constantly selling. And that's exactly what I've created with the Boss Framework. I will link in the show notes to the episode about the Boss Framework, but it isn't about constantly selling. It can simply be a place to add value, to share advice, to show your personality, and to build a bit of a community of possibly customers and hopefully customers and clients, but also champions and cheerleaders of your business as well. You're creating a space for people to get to know you and connect over time, not just hitting them with a sales sales pitch is what I meant. Don't hit them with a sales pitch. Okay, so let's wrap this up with a reminder. No, you don't have to be on social media to be successful, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But also, don't let anyone tell you that you don't need to be on social media because the thing that they're selling is the answer. There are plenty of other tools at your disposal, like I said, from email marketing to word of mouth, SEO, all the stuff that I've mentioned and more that I haven't mentioned. It is all about what fits your style and gets results for your business. However, social media does have a unique set of benefits that can support your other marketing efforts and complement them. It can deepen relationships and it can help potential customers get to know and trust you before they even reach out to you, before they even say, yes, have my email address. If you do decide to give social media a try, start small, like I said, and make it work for you. This is your permission to ignore the advice that doesn't work for you. Don't listen to the shoulds and needs and have tos, and suss out what works, what helps, who you trust, and then pick out the bits that work for you. Focus on creating the kind of content that you enjoy, whether that's sharing tips, celebrating client wins, or giving people a peek behind the scenes. And don't be afraid to take breaks or set boundaries. It is your business and you get to call the shots. And that's one of the things I really love with the people in my community. So for example, even in Boss Your Socials Club, I talk a lot about how brilliant batching is. Some people in the club batch, and people I know outside the club batch like a month ahead, because that's what they like doing. And I've also got members who will not batch more than 2 or 3 days ahead because it makes them feel sort of out of sync. And I have other members who won't schedule. It's because they found ways that will work for them, and that is what it's about for you. Don't be afraid that if for whatever reason you are very anti social media, particularly if it really affects your mental health or that kind of stuff, to not use it and find those other marketing efforts. It's just, like I said, it's your business, you call the shots, but just make it an informed decision what you do and don't use. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this episode has helped you feel more confident about your decision to be on social media or not. And remember, you are always welcome to reach out if you have questions or just want to chat more about anything I've said in this episode and share your thoughts with me. I would really, really love to hear from you. So come connect with me and let me know what you think. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening to Show Up and Be Heard, but please don't go without telling me your name. I genuinely love meeting new people and making new connections. So if you don't already, I'd love it if you'd come find me on Instagram, LinkedIn or Facebook and drop me a message to say hello and let me know what you thought of the episode. The link to all my socials are in the show notes. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode or found it useful, then I'd really appreciate it if you could take just a few minutes to give it a review on whatever platform you are listening on, because every one I get really does make me do a little squeal and a big happy dance. Finally, more than anything else, please always remember, realizing that you're not actually meant to do this stuff alone is the first step to making it easier. So I'll see you next time.